Most people fade with age, but a rare few sharpen. If you can still do these 8 things between 70 and 80, you haven't just survived the years, you've mastered them. Most people speak of aging as a loss of energy, of speed, of clarity, but that is only one story, and it is not the whole one. There is another path, rarely walked, and even more rarely recognized, where age becomes not a descent but a refinement, a paring away of noise, a deepening of awareness, a sharpening of quiet strength. When the quiet hours of the morning, when the world still sleeps, there are men and women between 70 and 80 who rise not with reluctance, but with rhythm. They do not chase time, they walk with it. They do not strain to prove themselves, nor cling to the ambitions of youth. Instead, they have turned their gaze inward, toward mastery not of others, but of self. This is the strength that few speak about, the kind that does not show itself in loud gestures or dramatic feats, but in simple, repeated acts of presence. Standing tall without needing support. Moving through space without fear. Breathing deeply even when life gets hard. Listening, without rushing to respond. Holding silence without needing to fill it. This is not frailty. This is power distilled. If you are among those who can still do certain things at this age, not for show, not for praise, but because your body remembers how to serve your spirit, you are not average, you are not common. You are a rare gem because aging, when approached with awareness, reveals what was always essential: your breath, your balance, your response to discomfort. The world may call it getting old, but the martial artist knows it as the deepening of form, the sculpting of presence, the clearing away of wasted movement until only precision remains. There is no need to race anymore. There is only rhythm. There is no need to push harder, only the invitation to go deeper. The great paradox is that some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet are in their 70s, not because they dominate but because they harmonize. They don't overpower others. They overpower fear, anxiety, chaos, hesitation. They move slowly but they never stop moving. They may speak softly but their presence changes the room. You won't see their names on billboards. You might not recognize them on the street, but watch carefully and you'll see it in the way they place a foot, in the way they pour tea, in the way they breathe when faced with frustration. There is no panic, no rush, no performance, just pure, distilled being. This strength is not born of luck. It is cultivated through decades of small decisions, through daily movement, even when the joints ached, through emotional honesty, even when it hurt, through years of listening to their body and choosing not to abandon it, through failing and beginning again and again. So if you're 70, 75, 80 and you still move with intention, still learn with humility, still respond with clarity, understand this: you are not just surviving, you are teaching. Every step you take without complaint is a lesson in perseverance. Every stretch you do before sunrise is a message to the world: this body still serves, this breath still matters. In Shaolin philosophy, the warrior trains not to fight but to embody peace so deeply that conflict dissolves in his presence. The elder who still embodies these quiet practices has become that warrior, not with fists but with footsteps, not with defiance but with grace. This chapter of life is not about decline, it is about refinement. The flame may burn lower, but it burns cleaner. And if you still possess these rare capabilities, you are not simply aging well. You are living as proof that mastery does not fade, it deepens. And you are a rare gem. There are those who believe that getting older means losing your edge, that the body softens, the mind dulls, and the heart resigns. But for the aging warrior, for the one who has practiced presence, breath, and control over many decades, becomes something different. Not a weakening, but a deepening. Not a vanishing, but a clarifying. The power may no longer explode outward, but it flows inward like a river that is carved through mountains. Quiet, steady, unshakable. If you are between 70 and 80 and can still do the following 8 things, you are not just well, you are rare. These are not ordinary abilities. They are the marks of someone who has lived intentionally. Someone who has preserved the connection between breath and body, between mind and movement, long after the world told them to slow down and settle. These are not checklists for physical exams. These are hidden arts, practices of strength, stillness, and self-mastery. You can stand on one leg for 10 seconds without swaying. At first glance it looks simple, but beneath that stillness is a powerful conversation between your nervous system, your muscles, your breath. Balance is not about the foot, it is about the mind. It is about staying rooted in uncertainty. If you can stand calmly on one leg, you are not just balanced in body, you are balanced in spirit. You can breathe deeply and slowly under pressure. Life at 70 does not eliminate stress, but if you can still return to your breath when faced with frustration, discomfort, or even fear, you are demonstrating something profound. You are not reactive, you are responsive. And that difference between the breath that panics and the breath that steadies can change everything. That you can rise from the ground without help, not because you trained to pass a test, but because you never stopped asking your body to serve, your will. This is the warrior's relationship with gravity: respectful, alert, capable. You do not fight the floor, you learn from it. You don't avoid contact, you explore it. Every time you sit down and stand again, you rehearse resilience. You can carry your own weight, whether it's a bag of groceries or the weight of your own body in movement. If you still bear loads with intention and without pain, your body is still in dialogue with strength. More importantly, your mind still trusts it. Grip strength, joint coordination, spinal integrity, these are not just signs of muscle, but of vitality. When you lift with grace, you move through life with independence. You can sleep through the night without medication. This is a forgotten art, the sacred rhythm of restoration. If your body still knows how to surrender to sleep, to heal in the silence, you are preserving not just health but cellular balance. The warrior rests, not out of fatigue, but to return stronger. You are not merely sleeping, you are rebuilding. From within. You can remember names, stories, and your own schedule without confusion. Mental clarity is not an accident. It is the result of a life lived in attention. Your mind is still forming connections, still curious, still awake. You have not retreated from the world, you are still present in it. That sharpness is not only a reflection of brain chemistry, but of emotional and spiritual alignment. You can walk for 15 minutes without pain or hesitation. The stride of the aging warrior is not hurried, but it is deliberate. Each step is a testament to harmony, a moving meditation. If you can walk freely, you still trust your body's rhythm. You still claim your space in the world. You are still moving forward, not just physically, but in spirit. And finally, you can say no without guilt. Perhaps the most underrated skill of all, the emotional strength to protect your energy, to set boundaries, to walk away from what no longer serves you. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. If you can say no with peace in your heart, you have mastered one of the highest forms of freedom. These are the 8 hidden arts of the aging warrior, each one a signal, each one a story. They speak not of youth regained, but of self-respect retained. If you still possess them, protect them. If you have lost one or two, rebuild them. It is never too late to return to the path. These are not the practices of survival, they are the quiet rituals of the rare. And if you still live by them, you are not just growing old, you are aging with mastery. Not everyone reading this feels capable. Some of you may have tried to stand on one leg and felt the wobble. You may have lowered yourself to the floor and needed your hands, or couldn't rise again without help. Perhaps you forget names more than you'd like, or your sleep has become fractured and restless. If that's you, take heart. This is not a defeat, it is a beginning. The body does not close its doors easily. It remembers more than you think, and it listens, even now, even at 70, even at 80. The aches you feel are not a verdict. They are invitations. Invitations to return, to reconnect, to rebuild. And that rebuilding does not require aggression. You do not have to strain or punish yourself to become strong again. You do not need to return to the body of your youth. You only need to return to the relationship you once had with it. One of trust, one of patience, one of quiet attention. You may feel stiff, but stiffness is not an enemy. It is a messenger, a wise teacher that whispers where you've stopped moving, where fear has crept in, where disconnection has taken root. Listen to it, and it will show you the path back. You may feel tired, but exhaustion too holds wisdom. It tells you that your body has been running on survival for too long, that it's time to shift from reaction to intention. The aging warrior does not win by overpowering the body. They win by learning from it, observing it, respecting its signals. If you've lost the ability to do some of the 8 hidden arts, do not rush to reclaim them through force. Begin with awareness, begin with softness, begin with breath. Sit quietly each morning and feel your spine. Close your eyes and sense where the tension lives. Stretch without expectation. Walk without comparison. Choose one simple ritual floor time. Grip strength, a 10-second balance, and return to it daily. Not to measure your worth, but to honor your process. Movement, like language, returns with repetition. And repetition becomes ritual. If your sleep is broken, create a sanctuary for it. Dim the lights, cool the room, turn off the noise. Write down the thoughts you carry before bed so they do not follow you into sleep. Train your system to feel safe again in stillness. If your memory has slipped, do not label it decline. Treat it like a forgotten trail. Begin walking it again. Read, write, speak with curiosity. Learn something new. The mind grows with use, just as a muscle does. Nature does not abandon you because of your age. It supports whatever you commit to. It meets you at the level of your consistency. And what it gives in return is quiet, cumulative grace, balance where there was stumbling, breath where there was tightness, dignity where there was defeat. You do not need to master all 8 abilities in a week. You only need to begin. Begin not with judgment, but with attention. Begin not with willpower, but with presence. The body is not broken, it is waiting. The mind is not lost, it is quiet. The spirit is not tired, it is calling. And when you respond with steady care, day after day, something ancient awakens. The temple within once neglected begins to glow again. You reclaim not just movement, but meaning. Not just memory, but agency. You do not reverse time. You remember who you are, and that remembrance more than anything is what transforms aging from a slow fade into a sacred return. So start now. Wherever you are, however you feel. Begin with breath, begin with presence. Reclaim your temple. One movement at a time. There comes a point on every path, whether physical, mental, or spiritual, where progress is no longer measured in speed, strength, or even clarity, but in stillness. Not the kind of stillness that comes from fatigue or surrender, but the stillness that is earned, cultivated, chosen, the stillness that lives in the center of the storm, unshaken. This is the eighth and final ability, the one that does not show itself in tests or movements, but in presence, in how you carry yourself when nothing is easy, and everything is asking for your attention. Stillness under challenge is the highest form of mastery. It is what remains when the body aches, when the mind wanders, when the world pushes, but you do not flinch, you do not retreat. You breathe, you remain. It is not weakness that makes a person crumble under pressure, but disconnection. When breath is forgotten, when the ground beneath you feels foreign, when the heart races without rhythm, that's when panic takes hold. But the one who has trained not just muscles, but awareness knows how to meet hardship with softness, not tension. At this stage of life, challenges do not disappear. They change shape. They arrive quietly through loss, limitation, uncertainty. And they ask a deeper question. Not can you fight, but can you stay? Can you stay with the discomfort, the not knowing, the slowing down, and remain centered? Can you watch your own thoughts rise and fall without chasing them? Can you experience pain without letting it become your identity? Stillness under challenge is not passive, it is deeply active. It requires every ounce of your attention. Every breath becomes a decision, every pause a practice, and the reward is not applause, but peace, the kind of peace that cannot be taken, because it was not borrowed, it was built. Those who age well are not the ones who avoid difficulty. They are the ones who welcome life in its full expression, who show up with grace, even when the knees hurt, who smile gently, even when the memory flickers, who offer presence, not performance. This is not about ignoring decline. It is about refusing to be ruled by it. And so if you are still here, still learning, still walking, still loving, still reaching for your better self, then you are already a rare gem. You are living proof that aging is not retreat, but refinement. That presence can deepen even as the pace slows. That the path does not end at 70, or 80, or 90, it simply changes terrain. And you, warrior of breath and balance, are still on it. Now polish yourself, not to become someone new, but to reveal what has always been within. Train your days the way you once trained your body, with care, with reverence, with discipline. Greet the morning not with complaint, but with curiosity. Welcome movement not as duty, but as gratitude. Speak less, but say more. Pause often, breathe deeper. And when challenges come, as they always will, meet them not with fear, but with stillness. The final gate is not something you pass through, it is something you become. When you can remain steady in the face of time itself, you do not just survive, you illuminate. You become a quiet light for others who are walking behind you. A living example that strength is not in how loud you are, or how fast you go, but in how calmly you remain when everything else begins to fade. You are still here, and that means your path is not finished. Keep walking with grace, with intention, with stillness.